and both my son say, call Allah Yahweh by Shem Yahshai. Like I just said, God praise to the Father in the name of the Son. I also want to say Yahweh by Shem Yahshai, Barakatah, meaning the Most High in Christ is blessed. Right? What we're going to do today, also I want to say why Shalom and peace, listeners, and peace. Right? Peace to the Torah, together, right? So what we're going to do today is get right into this Genesis 42. We're just going to deal with it accordingly, right? So this is Genesis 42. It's a lot of reading, but like I said in the last video, Genesis 42 and Genesis 43 going on deal with each other, so we needed to stop at 41 in order to make sure we're keeping it all together in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So this is Genesis 42 verse 1. It says, now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, right, Jacob sent not with his brethren, right, because he feared that Joseph was dead, right? And it's going to say that, right? For he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him, right? And we got to understand Rachel, the one who he wanted, the one who he favored, I should say, right? That this is the one who he wanted, man. The one who he loved, right? That was Joseph and Benjamin were her only two children. So with his ideology that Joseph is dead, he's saying, look, I'm not taking Benjamin. He's not going with that, right? But that's going to come back to him, right? So let's continue on. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the family was in the land of Canaan. Set alarm for 6 o'clock. And when Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all people of the land, and Joseph's brethren came and bowed themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Right, so we're gonna continue on. I just want to make sure that I'm not too quiet. So let's get a. Yeah, I'm good. It might be a little bit quiet, so I'm gonna just turn myself up a little bit more, bring this a little bit closer. I should be good. All right, good now. So continuing on, it says. Right, this is verse 40, Genesis 42 and 7. And Joseph saw his brethren. So Joseph realized that they was his brothers, man. And he knew them, right? Like I just said, but made himself strange unto them. So he made himself strange. Let's get that word strange. It's in the car. Right, so he made himself strange, made himself look different to them, right? And made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said, whence come ye? And they said, from the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brothers, but they do not him. Right? And this is a good instance to show that Joseph was ruling over Egypt, and he blended in with the Egyptians, because they didn't perceive that this was an Israelite or their brother, right? Or any of the Hebrews, right? They didn't think that of him, right? They didn't know who he was. They didn't know what he came about doing, none of that, right? And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said, ye are spies to see the nakedness of the land. Ye are come, right? I also want to look up something really quick, right? I know I'm in Genesis 42. Give me 1 second so I just looking for something specific out of Genesis 42, right? So we're going to be in 42. Okay. All right. I'm just, I'm not going to go too deep into that. Right, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole in my mind looking for something. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to continue on, right? And Joseph remembered the dream, so I got that already. Verse 10, it said, and they said unto him, nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's son. We are true men thy servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the son of one man in the land of Canaan, and behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and is not. So they telling them, Benjamin not with us. Right? And Joseph said, and one is not. They saying basically Joseph ain't here no more. He dead. But they speaking directly to Joseph in this point. Right? And Joseph said unto them, That is it that I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. Ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. So he's like, look, like I made the point up here when Jacob, right? Jacob said that Benjamin can't go. Right? So going back down to verse 13, or well, we wasn't there, right? At verse 15. That's when he was saying, like, look, your brother got to come. We ain't going to give you nothing unless your brother here. Send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved. So he was like, look, y'all about to go in prison now, man. Y'all put me in the pit, payback time, man. And that ain't probably how he was thinking, but he remembered the dream, obviously. But he was like, look, man, y'all going to get his work, man. And he put them all together into war in 3 days. So they was in jail for 3 days, pretty much. Right, let's actually get that word war out the Hebrew. Just so Mashamar, ward, watch, guard, villages, offices, prison. That's why I said they were in prison for 3 days. Just so we know we not added to the scripture. So they went into prison together for 3 days. Right? The not that was 12, Joseph, and then another one. So it had to be and Benjamin. So yeah, it was 9 of them at that time. 9 of them was there in the jail for 3 days, right? And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do and live, for I fear God. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye carry corn for the famine of your houses, and bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified. Ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required, and they knew not that Joseph understood them. For he spake unto them by an interpreter. So he was even speaking to them in another language. And then they didn't perceive that Joseph was a Hebrew. He ain't know Hebrew. They just like, oh, he's dealing with this Phoenician language at the time, which is kind of hard to understand, because I was under the assumption that Phoenician and Hebrew were very similar in the way it was written and the way it was spoken. And it was not hard for us to understand Phoenician. But obviously here, it's just eye-opening moments like this that show you that it's not always the case, right? And I probably read this scripture probably like 50 times maybe, but I've never actually sat here and looked at it in this instance to see this, right? So Joseph understood them, but they thought that he didn't understand them. That's the tangent I was just on, right? And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again and communed with them, and took from them Simeon and bound him before their eyes. So he was like, he turned around, wept a little bit, and you see it's there, it's playing upon tables, right? And then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with coins, and restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they ladded their asses with corn, and departed thence. And and we got to remember, like, Joseph gave these men the corn, right? Joseph did this, right? And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender, and in the end he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. Right? And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that God has done to us? So they found money in the sack, and It was Joseph, right? Joseph did all this, right? And they came unto Jacob, their father, unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone, and bring the youngest brother unto me. Right? Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So I will deliver your brother, your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob, their father, said unto them, me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, slay my two sons. If I bring him not thee, deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. Right? And he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead. So this was the point that I was making about why Jacob didn't want Benjamin gone, because his brother is dead, and he is left alone. Right? The two sons of Rachel, right? And it says, if mischief befall him by the way in the which he go, then shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Continuing on, right? And the famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn, which they brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. Right? Let me get this text message out to let the brother know we don't have time today. So after y'all, I sent this to most of my members, but I want this brother to come and respond to the group chat. Let me make sure he responds to the group chat. Just bear with me. It ain't none but none. He looked at the group chat. I think he gonna open it. If he don't, oh well. But continuing on, it came to pass when they eat the corn which they are brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spoke unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest against us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. So I mentioned something about how Joseph planted something and somebody, that didn't happen yet. Right? Joseph didn't plant anything just yet. Simeon was to be kept with him, because he said one man got to stay while the rest of y'all could go. So we're going to get to that point. I was speaking too quickly, but verse 5, it says, but if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, ye shall not see myself, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, this man asked us straightly of our state and our kindred, and saying, is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words, because we certainly know that he would say, bring your brother down. And Judah said unto Israel his father, send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and thou, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. If I bring him now unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now had returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be so now, do this. Take up the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm, and a little honey, spices, and myrrh, nuts, and almonds. So he said, yo, all right, do what you got to do. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in your mouth, or your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again into the man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. Right? If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And he just was like, hungry, right? And the men took that present and they took the double money in their hand, and Benjamin, see, that's confirmation that Benjamin went. He said, it is what it is. If I'm bereaved of my children, I'm bereaved. I gotta do it, right? And stood and rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph, right? Joseph sees Benjamin. It's a key pivotal moment here, right? So, and when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, bring these men home and slay and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. So he was about like, yo, look, all right, let them dine with me at noon then, right? And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, because of the money that was returned in our sacks at the first time, we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us and fall upon us and take us for bondmen and for our asses. So the money didn't get taken from them. When they went to buy corn, they didn't spend the money. They was giving it back because it's their brother. He ain't gonna charge them nothing, man. And that has something to do with why the Lord put him in that position to begin with, right? So chapter 43, verse 19, right? It says, and they came near of the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at thy first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came into that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of the sack, and our money was full weight. And we have brought it again in our hand. Our other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, peace be to you. Fear not your God, and the God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the men brought the men into Joseph's house and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their ass provender, right? Excuse me. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present, which was in their hand, right? Which was in their hand, into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, is your father well? The old man of whom you spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, the servant of our, thy servant, our father, is in good health, he is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. So this is literally the dream that I went into last video, Torah series part 9, about how the 11 stars and the sun and the moon made obeisance to me. That's what this is talking about, right? Okay, so Genesis 37:9. You know, I got that Bible gateway. We're gonna just go to Genesis 37. I hate when that happens. So Genesis 37:9. We're gonna get that again. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream. I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. That's exactly what that's talking about, right? It's literally right here. That's a prophecy, or the dream, which was prophetic, being fulfilled right here in verse 28 of chapter 43. Verse 29, it says, and he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, is this your younger brother, of whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. Right? And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. So he was like feeling it, like, oh my God, my younger brother, right? Like he was taken from his younger brother. They had to be close because Benjamin and Joseph was the only two ones of Rachel, man. Right? And he entered into his chamber and wept there, man. So, and he saw where to weep. So he was like, you know, he could cry, man. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. So he went into his room and wept, man. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself and said, set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians. right? So the Egyptians didn't want to eat with the Hebrews, so it was just a custom there, right? And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another, and he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. Let me see what that mess is. It's Masha, 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 right? Maishaya, Maisha, Masha, right? It's hard to say that in English, but upright and glittering, burden, portion, uplifting, that which rises, upright and uplifting, signal, rising, utterance, articles, burden, portion, presence, wagyu, gift, contribution, offering, tribute, mess. So, we can see here a rising, right, a beacon, right, a mess, a present, a tribute, figuratively, a recoat, as burden, collection, sign of fire. So it could be a bunch of different things where this message is. And I'm gonna say that it was like a filthy mess, like, but I could be wrong. I'm not gonna say that that's exactly what it is, but I'm almost certain that's what it was. Right? Well, Genesis 44 verse 1, right? And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the men's sack with food, and as much as they carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And they put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest. So this is where he's setting them up, right? And his corn money, right? And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. This is beautiful execution by Joseph, for real, right? He was being deceptive, but this needed to happen for the children of Israel to live for 37 years of the famine, man, right? Okay, and as soon as the morning, okay, so verse 4, and when they were going out of the city, not yet far off, so they weren't too far away from the city, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? He set them up, man, right? Just like the cops, man, that plant some evidence on you, man, but that ain't the type of situation that was going on, man. Joseph was not, had no ill intentions, man. Right, he wanted to see his father. That was the goal of this whole thing. And it says, "Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing." And he overtook them and spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, wherefore said my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servant should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sack's mouth we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then shall we steal out of the Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants if it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And he said, now also let it be according to your words. He whom with is found shall be my servant, and he shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. So they took it off the carriages and put it on the ground pretty much. And they did it quick. They looked through, making sure it was good. And he searched and begat at the eldest and left at the youngest. So he started at the oldest, went down to the youngest. And a cup was found in Benjamin's sack. So this is what Israel didn't want to happen. He didn't want Benjamin to get caught up in nothing. He didn't even want to send them. Joseph took advantage of that. But it was needed. You feel what I'm saying? It's needed to happen for the nation of Israel's sake, right? And then they rent their clothes and led it every man his ass and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? While ye not that such a man as I certainly divine? Right? And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so, but the man whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant, and as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. So he said, look, I can't do nothing about it, man. He stole my stuff, which he actually didn't, but he was like, look, my word is going to stand, man. And then Judah came near unto him and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My Lord asked his servant, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he is alone, is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou says unto thy servant, bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidest unto thy servant, except your youngest brother come down with you, you should see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my Lord. Our father said, go again and buy us little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our younger brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me two sons. Talk about Rachel. And the one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn to pieces. I saw him not since. And if he take also from me and mischief before him, he shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. So he said, look, I'm going to be hurt so bad that I might die, man. Right? Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, right? It shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant, our father, with sorrow to the grave. For the servant became surety for the lad, my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Right? Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of a lad of bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brother. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that come on my father. So he's like, look, I don't want my dad to die. Just please take me, give us Benjamin back. So we're gonna go continue on. Genesis 45 and 1. And then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood before him, and he cried, because every man to go out from him, and he stood, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. So Joseph spilled the beans, man. He let them know. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brother, I am Joseph, doth my father yet live? So he had to do it. He was like, look, is his dad still alive, man? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. Of course they were going to be troubled at his presence. They sold him into slavery, man. Right? And Joseph said unto his brother, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now therefore, be not grieved nor angry with yourself that you sold me hither. He said, yo, don't be mad that y'all did this, right? For God did send me before you to preserve life. I'm just saying this for a little bit in this video, man. The Lord did this, or I didn't say the Lord did it, but I said this was so that Israel could live throughout the 7 years of the famine, man. This was done for the goodness' sake of Israel, man. Right, but continuing on, right, for these 2 years have the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earning nor harvest. So he said, look, it's about to be it's 7 years of a famine going on, and 2 passed already, man. It ain't gonna be no harvest. We needed this, man. Right? And God sent me before you to preserve you of prosperity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So he said, look, the Lord put me in a situation to save the lives of us, man. To Salakia. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but the Most High, or but Allah empowers the Most High. Yeah, that does say powers, Allah, right? But it's all the works and will of the Father Yahweh, right? Um, and he that hath made me a father to Pharaoh and Lord of all his house and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. So this is what happened. And haste ye, right? And go up to my father and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God had made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, carry not so. Joseph's plan was to get them to go to their father, tell him, look, we got Benjamin is done. Like he's a servant forever. He stole something, and basically I could have formulated and come to a prediction that he was gonna say, I'm not gonna let him go until you bring your father now, and that could have been the case, but he couldn't hold it in no more. He started crying, man, because it was his brother, man. Why I got this in my hand? Why am I putting it through my beard, right? But it was his brother, man, right? His brother, he couldn't hold it no more, man. His brother and his dad, man, he was like, yo, man, look, I'm Joseph, your brother. He couldn't take it no more, man. Like dealing falsely with his brother, he couldn't take it no more. So he had to spill the beans, and then now he's telling them to blood thee father no, man. And thou shalt go in the land of Goshen, thou shalt not be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flock, and thy herds, and all that thou hast, and there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household, and all that thou hast come to poverty. I want to see where that Goshen is. And that's Goshen, drawing near, a region in northern Egypt. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to make no assumptions, right? Goshen in northern Egypt. And it says, and there I will nourish thee, I was at Goshen, where is it at? And thou shalt go in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. So he said, look, y'all need this. We need this so we don't go into poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all the glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. Right? And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. So they were crying on each other, man. Right? And it says, moreover, he kissed all his brother and wept upon them, and after all that, his brother talked with him. Right? So they started chopping it up, right? And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants, right? So this was a good thing in the eyes of Pharaoh, right? He's like, yo, good stuff, man. Joseph got his brethren with him, man. That ain't gonna be all the pharaohs, though. All the pharaohs ain't gonna be that way. Just because it says Pharaoh, that does not mean it's the same person. Pharaoh ain't always the same person. Pharaoh didn't live for 100,000 years or whatever, man. Pharaoh was a title, right? Actually, let's get that. You could either say pariah, or you could say that's Rai. You could say pariah, or you could say pariah. I would say pariah, right? Pharaoh, great house. The common title of the king of Egypt. Title of the king of Egypt. It's not a name, right? Pharaoh does mean great house, but that ain't what it is, man. But Pharaoh's a title. I had to get it. I made the point, and I had to say it. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto your brethren, this do ye, raise your beasts and go and get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. This ain't always going to be the case, though, right? Because Exodus, or it might even be Numbers. So I'm gonna get it. Exodus 16:3. We're gonna get to this eventually. I don't like you Bible version or whatever that is. I don't like it. I'm gonna get it out of Bible Gateway because that's the best version for me. So this Exodus 16 verse 3. Right, actually I'm gonna start at verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. This was during the wilderness. So this is after they got out of Egypt. Right, and the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we have died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. So flesh pots is basically saying they got the scraps of the meat, man. And they did get bread to the fullness, right? For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. It wasn't built for that life, man. Us as Israelites, we try and be built for that life, but some of us not built for that life either, man. We were them same spirits that's regenerated and brought back to this place, man. Some of us have better spirits this time around. We've been cleansed. Some of us don't. Man. Some of us still got that same, I need to eat, I need to be fed, I need to drink, I need to have my bread, I need all that, man. And that's a weak mindset, man. You can't fast a day out the month, man, or you can't fast at all. You can't make it through the Day of Atonement without getting some water or something, man. That's a weak mindset, man. Right? You might think you're dying with fasting. How should I fast it for 40 days? So we're going to continue on. Let me see where I left. Right? Okay. Okay. Okay, so in verse 19, Genesis 45:19, it says, now thou art commanded, this do ye, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. So he said, look, bring dad and come on, man. Also regarding all your stuff, that was actually Pharaoh. So Pharaoh was saying, like, get everybody from Canaan and come on to Egypt, man. Also regarding all your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. So he said, look, leave everything you got. We got you over here, man. We got a house for you. We got cars. We got, like in a modern sense, this is how they would be talking. And this obviously wasn't what they were saying. So he was like, look, we got houses. We got food. We got raiment. We got everything you need right here in Egypt. Come on, man. And that's how it is in America too, man. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if Pharaoh of now, which is Donald J. Trump, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he starts saying, yeah, man, we getting rid of this, that, and the third, but if you this, that, and the third are Hebrew Israelite, or you speak anti-Semitism, or you speak against the ideology of Christianity, then you're going to be, you ain't going to be able to receive of this stuff, man. So the same way that Pharaoh here was, this could be the same way that Donald J. Trump of today is, right? He could say, yo, look, leave all your stuff and just come on and take what I got, man, right? Because he is proposing that, what is it, income tax cut or whatever, man, whatever the case is, man. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, man, you just accept it, but what's the end result? The end result was us being servants in the land of Egypt, man. Right? But continuing on, and the children of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, and clothing. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment. He was more so favoring Benjamin, because that's his nearest to kin. Benjamin is Joseph's nearest to kin. Right? Even though all were brothers, Joseph and Benjamin were the closest related, man, because they had the same mother and same father, right? This does hold a little bit of weight, even though they are all the children of Israel and all from the seed of Israel. It's still a little bit of a differentiation there, man. Right? A lot of people would be like, look, Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Caribbeans look the best, but some Caribbeans be looking ugly as hell, man. From me being Benjamin myself, man, some Caribbeans don't be looking all that good. Now you got the good looking ones that you like, damn, she fine, or damn, like she's sexy as hell, whatever, foul Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Caribbeans, man, that it do hold a little bit of weight, man, because Caribbeans be the baddest when they the baddest. You know what I'm saying? Judites, they be alright when they the baddest, right? But when you gotta be like Rihanna, bad. Even Salakia for even speaking like that, because she got a husband. But like, you gotta think of terms of that, man. When somebody say the standard of beauty, they going to her, man. She fashionable, so on and so forth, man. It just is what it is, man. You come from the pretty mama Rachel, man. Not and child to cheap people, man. He would say not from the ugly mama of Leah, right? But she wasn't ugly. She was fair to look upon too. She was just not as fair as Leah, man. Rachel. But that rather here nor there. That goes into why they had changes of arraignment like that, because he's looking out for his nearest of kin, right? And to this, so Genesis 45:23, and to this his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with good things of Egypt, and 10 cheat asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent provisions to his father, man, right? And so he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, see that ye fall not out by the way. And they went out of Egypt and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and they told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed him not. I just want to get this word fainted out the Hebrew for personal, my own personal entertainment, right? So that's Yapah, but that's Pawag. For the actual word Pawag, grow numb, feeble, be numbed, feeble, numb, fainted, cease, slack, feeble. So he kind of like, you know, he was weak, man. You know, but even fainted, man. Because you telling me my brother, my son, that I've been missing and mourning and keeping Benjamin close for so long, he alive? Y'all believe me, man. And they told him all the words of Joseph when he had said unto them, and when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to him to carry him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, was revived, man. So he got a boost of energy when he actually found out the truth. So he's like, nah, man, y'all lying to me. Stop lying to me. And my son, nah, he's not alive. But then when he got the proof, he was like, oh my God, Joseph is alive, right? And even there, right? And Israel said, it is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. So he was like, oh my goodness, this is enough. I got it. That's enough proof right there. My son is alive. And I can imagine how he said that, because he says that he was revived, man. So he would have not just been like, oh, okay, it's enough. I believe y'all now, Joseph alive. He would have been like, oh my goodness, that's enough. That's it, man. I got the proof. My son alive. And I could imagine in that time, right, he wasn't given the name of the Most High by name, but I could see if he would have said, call Allah Yahweh or call Allah Yah, right? Call Allah Yah, right? All praises to the Father. All praise, or call Allah Abba, right? Something along that line, man. But he was excited, man. He was not just like, oh yeah, my son's alive. Because you gotta, it's easy to be understood, but some people be like, it ain't no exclamation point here. It ain't bold and bright and all that. It don't need to be, man. So continuing on, yes, I'm continuing on, because it's still gonna be something until Genesis 49. Like Genesis 49, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta stop it there, because that's a whole breakdown in itself. Genesis 49 have to be studied. It have to be understood, because that's where most of the 12 tribes chart come from. That ideology of the 12 tribes chart comes from Genesis 49. And then a lot of people will say the 12 tribes chart is false. I don't believe that, right? Because, I don't believe that. The 12 tribes chart isn't as accurate as it should be, right? It's just Western Hemisphere specific, but that don't mean it's false. The 12 tribe chart is definitely not false. That's the stick that's joined together, Judah and Ephraim. I don't know if I'm not mistaken, Ezekiel 36 or 37. I think it's 37. But, we're going to continue on in Genesis 46, and we're gonna probably get 47 because that's when if I'm not mistaken, Jacob gave up the ghost, right? And then 49 we're gonna be good, right? So yeah, we're gonna continue on, right? This is Genesis 46. Israel took his journey with all that he had and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac. And God spake unto Israel in the visions of the night and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here I am. And he said, I am God, the God of your father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for there make of thee a great nation. So he said, look, in Egypt you're going to become a great nation, right? He didn't become a great nation in Israel. Israel was a people before a place. I don't know if this is actually spiritual. I hear it a lot, but okay, so this is kind of what I need. This 2 Samuel 7:10, it says, Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel and will plant them. So the people, Israel is a people more better than a place, man, right? That they may dwell in a place of their own and move no more, neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore as before time, man. So yeah, it's not saying that per se, but it is saying that, right? Israel is the people first, then the place. We get set in our place, right? And God speaking to Israel, okay, Salakia. So that was verse 3, right? Verse 4, it says, I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones, and their wives and their wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. And they took their cattle and their goods which they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and came into Egypt, Jacob and all his seed with him. Right, his sons and his sons' sons with him, his daughters and his daughters' daughters, and his seed, and all his seed brought he with him to Egypt. Okay, verse 8, it says, These are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt, Jacob and his sons Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, right? Okay, and the sons of Reuben, Hanak, and Phalu, and Hezron, and Carmi, and the sons of Simeon, Jemiel, right, and Jamin, and Ohai, and Jakim, and Zohar, and Shaw, the son of a Canaanitish women, right, Salaki for that, right, and the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari, right, the sons of Judah, and Onan, and Salah, and Perez, and Sarai, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan, and the sons of Pharaoh, Perez were Hezron and Hamul, so Perez had children, and then the sons of Issachar, Tola, and Puva, right, and Job, and Shimron, that ain't the same Job that dwelt in the land of Uz, but some people might say that's wrong, right? Joab is not the same as Job in the book of Job either. Some people might say that it's not. Joab is an Edomite, if I'm not mistaken. Job is an Israelite. That's continuing on though. But these be the sons of Leah, which he bare unto Jacob and Padan Aram with his daughter Dinah. All the souls of his sons and his daughters were 30 and 3. Right, so that's out of Leah. Right, and it says, and the sons of Gad, Ziphion and Haggai and Shuni and Esbon, Eri and Arodi and Arelai, right? And the sons of Asher, Jemnah and Ashua and Esui and Beriah and Sarah, their sister, and the sons of Beriah, Heber and Melchiel, right? These are the sons of Zilpah, right? That'll be the name I forget. I know Bilal, but I'll be forgetting Zilpah, right? Who Laban gave to Leah his daughter, and these she bare unto Jacob, even 16 souls. These sons of Rachel, Jacob's wife, Joseph and Benjamin, right? And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bare unto him. And the sons of Benjamin were Bela and Becher and Ashbel, Gerah and Naaman, Ahi and Raj, Bupim sons of Rachel, which were born to Jacob, all the souls were 14, right? 16 from Zilpah, 14 from Rachel, right? And she had Gad and Asher, right? And they had Joseph and Benjamin. They were younger though, so we gotta remember that. Take that into account, right? These are the and the sons of Dan, Husham, and the sons of Naphtali, Jazil, and Guni, and Jezer, and Sholem. Right? These are the sons of Bela, which Laban gave unto Rachel his daughter, and she bare these unto Jacob. All the souls were 7. She had 2 kids; they had 7 altogether. Continuing on, all the souls that came with Jacob into Egypt, which came out of his loins, besides Jacob's sons' wives, all the souls were 66. 66. 60 is 20 times 3. Score is 20 times 3. Let's get that again. So we see a score in the Bible refers to the number 20. So I'm probably gonna get that again because some people just don't get that, but that's 66 years. 3 times 20. Easy math, right? And the sons of Joseph, when they were born him in Egypt, were 2 souls, right? Let me just do. Actually, I probably could have just got that out of Blue Letter Bible. You got 20, the word 20, in the Bible. So let's just see. Where is 3 score? 3 score and 6. So that's Shashayim. 3 score 60. So it's just what it is, man. And Shashayim is 6. Rosh Hashanah, which is and 6. So Shashayim kind of makes sense because Shashai is 6, and Rosh Hashanah is 6, and Shashayim is 60, or plural 6 and or 60, so it's plural. So it makes sense when you do the math, like Shashayim. I would think that Yom would be accountable for score, but that's not technically what it is because I could probably go to 2 score, 3 score, 4 score, 5 score, and it's probably not the same. Not going to do that just yet, but and the sons of Joseph, which were born in Egypt, were 2 souls, and all the sons of the house of Jacob, which came into the Egypt, were 3 score and 10. Right? And it says, then he sent Judah before him into Joseph to direct his face into Joseph. Right? And they came into the land of Joseph. And Joseph made ready his chariot and went up to meet his father Israel, his father, to meet Israel, his father, to Goshen, and presented himself unto him, and he fell on his neck and wept on his neck a good while. And Israel said unto Joseph, now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive. And Joseph said unto his brother and unto his father's house, I will go and show Pharaoh, and say unto him, my brother and my father's house, which were in the land of Canaan, are come unto me. And the men are shepherds, for their trade hath been to feed cattle, and they have brought their flocks and their herds, and all that they have. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, and shall say, what is your occupation? Then you shall say, thy servant's trade have been about cattle from our youth, even until now, both we and also our fathers, that we may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. So let's continue on. There's about 2 more chapters, and then I'm going to wind this out, man. And it's probably going to be mostly reading, not a lot that I'm going to have to expound on in this, man, but it's got to be touched on, because some things get brought to life, man. So Genesis 47, then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds are... I did mention something, though. So like it just came to my mind. I did say something how Jacob dies in 48, but that ain't the case. He dies in either 49 or 50. I'm not sure. He might even die in Exodus 1, but I don't think Jacob died until after 49 when he did what's going to befall the children of came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brethren, their flocks and their herds, and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brother, what is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, for to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, for their famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, thy father and thy brother are coming to thee, the land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land make thy father and brother to dwell, in the land of Goshen let them to dwell. And if thou knowest any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. And Joseph brought and Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. So he was 130 years old. And few and evil have the days of the years of my life been. So he said, it's been few and evil have been the days of his life, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. So he said, look, man, I had a rough time, man. It's been rough going, man. Right? And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brother and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt and the best of the land and the land of Ramses, and Pharaoh has commanded. And Joseph, so Ramses is a person, right? But that's not really what it's talking about. Let's go here. Let's get Ramses real quick. That's a land, but it's also a person. I think that was the name of the pharaoh at the point in time. I'm not sure, right? Ramses, child of the sun. So it's a city in lower Egypt built by Hebrew slaves, probably in Goshen. So yeah, it was used a few times, right? But Ramses was a pharaoh, if I'm not mistaken, right? Hold on, let me see. I may be misspeaking. I'll look it up. Okay. So this is the one. You know who this is? Israelites. Right? And let's see if I can make this bigger. Right? Some will say this right here. I don't know if you can see. Some will say that's fringes. You can see here, border the garment. Some say that's fringes. But these is definitely not them. You see the differentiations in the faces? Nigga, nigga, nigga. Right? All 3 niggas, man. Right? And he got them by the hair. Because the burden on the Israelites was hard, man. Pharaoh was I don't know. I don't want to misspeak. But let me see. Okay, we just looking through this real quick. Actually, we could do this real quick. I need to just start pressing. Yeah, don't mention nothing about the Israelites, so I just wanted to see that though. But Ramses was a person, man, who ruled in Egypt. Okay. Okay. So that's where we got it. And Joseph nourished his father and his brother and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they brought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for flocks, and for cattle of the herd, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all the cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, We will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land, by us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, and the land be not desolate. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, and for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh. As for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned to them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have brought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and the four parts shall be your own for the seed of the field, for your food, and for them of your households, and for food of your little ones. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in thy sight, of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should not have the fifth part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh. So Joseph was establishing rule in there, and that's who he was. He was a ruler, he was a ruler type in Egypt, man. He wasn't a pharaoh in Egypt, but he was a ruler, right? And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 140 and 7 years. So Jacob was 147 when he died. And this is what it's talking about right here, man. He's not about to die just yet, but he's getting there, man. Right? So it says, In the time drew nigh that Israel must die, and he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me, bury me not. I pray thee in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in the burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he swore unto him, and Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. Now let's continue on. This is going to be the last chapter, like I mentioned. This is more so dealing with Ephraim and Manasseh's blessing. And then this is talking about the later days, right? So we're not going to get this, because even though it may not seem like much with 33 verses, man, everything up here, right, where's Benjamin last, right? Benjamin show Raven as well. Everything from pretty much 3, right? 3 down until 23, or what was that verse at, right? 27. So that's what, 24 verses, man. All of that is about future prophecy, man. We got to get into all these, so we're not going to get into there on this video, man. I'm going to do a Torah series, part 10, point 5. And then that's going to be in parentheses, but it's going to say Genesis 49 breakdown. That's going to be the name of the next video I should do. That comes Sunday, because I got some intense fishing on the game plan for tomorrow morning, man. We got 70 degree weather on tomorrow. Sunday I'm also going fishing, and I'm going to have camp on Sunday at out in Buffalo. But if not, man, I'm going to still be fishing this weekend, but I'm going to get this lesson in on Sunday, because that's my next available day that I could get this done, man. So be on the lookout for that, man. I'm not coming with that tonight, unless it is going to be a gathering tonight with me and a couple Akians. When we gather, we might go into it. I might just sit with the brothers and go into Genesis 49, write down the lesson, mindset I got around me, man, and then bring that out. But it just depends, man. We don't know what the game plan is. It's all of the Lord will, man. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling and get into Genesis 48. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick, and he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee, and Israel strengthened himself and sat upon his bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. And he said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make thee a multitude of people, and I will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. Right? And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. So he said, look, as my two children, Reuben and Simeon, they are also like them, man. So this is why we see 12 tribes chart omit Dan, right? When we get into Genesis 49, we're not really going to go into Dan all like that, because Dan is not definitive. Some people say he is. Some people say that Dan is the Aboriginal Australian. It's not the case, I don't think, but it could be the case. I don't know. I've never had the proper understanding of who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody put Manasseh and Ephraim in Dan's place, man. And Joseph obviously is Ephraim and Manasseh, so that's how we get the 12 tribes chart, man. And this is why we see that they make up part of the 12 tribes, man. Because look, they are his, man. These are the people who he's choosing, man. And thy issue which thou begettest after them shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. So now he's saying, look, they get an inheritance. As for me, when I come from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan, in the way when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath, right? And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath, the same as Bethlehem, right? And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, Salaki, I got a cup right here. I was about to do some extra crazy stuff if I didn't need to. And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Right? Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, right? So that he could not see. So he was blind, man, right? And he brought them near unto him, and he said, he kissed them and embraced them, right? So that's why it would seem like he didn't know who was with him, right? But he's like, look, who is these people here? He didn't really know what they looked like. He wanted to know, like, what's going on, right? But they going with this blessing, right? And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. So Israel was like, look, man, it's a blessing. I didn't even think I was going to see you again, but now I get to see your children, and that's a beautiful thing. Right? And Joseph brought them out from between his knees and bowed himself with his face to the earth, right? And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand towards Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head. Right? Who was the younger? His left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Right? And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lad, and let my name be named on them. In the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, let them go into a multitude in the midst of the earth. Right? And when Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand upon the head of Manasseh, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused. I get it. So that's just talking about Pharaoh, but hold on, I don't want that. Okay, so this is Romans 9:15. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Right? So the Lord ultimately had Ephraim set up that way, man. Right? Just how Jacob was chosen, man. That's the same way with Ephraim, man. Ephraim got the better, the higher blessing, man. Right? But that's all the Lord's will, man. All the Lord's will, man. Right? And so it didn't matter what his father thought, man. What Joseph thought. It's what the Lord wanted, man. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. So Israel said, I know it. Right? He also shall be a people, right? Become a people. So he's saying, look, hold on, let's continue on. He also shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations, right? I've gotten this before, a multitude of nations for what is it? Multitude of nations was fullness of the Gentiles. That's what it was. So what was the word that was actually getting out of here? Um, people. I wanted people. People's Iraq, but I'm not sure. I I want to see if that means maybe tribes, does mean nation, people, people's nation, persons, members of one people, patriots, countrymen, kinsmen, kindred. It don't mean tribe. So I didn't want to insert that into the text. Actually, it does mean tribe. So tribe. That's what it's saying there. I didn't want to insert it. I've heard that in the past, but I wanted to prove it for myself to ensure that I'm not adding on to the text. I always do that. Don't want to mislead or lead nobody astray with the text. With what I've heard, I try and do my own research like everybody else should. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Go into it, do your own research, get the information for yourself. And I'm just doing this because it's needed for somebody to go through the Torah point by point and do the best they can. And some people have more knowledge than others, but we need something like this in Israel, right? GMS does stuff like this all the time. Sakari started doing something like this. WFI started getting into this, right? I wish when I was with HY we had something like this, man, but it's hard to find something like that. No distance to them, but it's some camps that do this, and we need more camps and organizations doing this, man, because it's a necessity, right? But continuing on, it says, and he blessed them that day, saying, indeed shall Israel bless, saying, God may be as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, have I given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Alright, so with that, man, well, we do got to get into that just a little bit, right? So he was saying Israel, right? He got a greater portion than the rest of his brothers, right? That's what that's saying. And it is what it is, man. So with that, I want to say shalom. How about you, man?